peoples for the purpose of slavery. That didn't start with Europeans. That started
Who do you think were buying those slaves, dude? That's a, so,
not only Britain. Remember, it was Britain who started the abolition of slavery.
I mean, it was a joint effort. It wasn't just these horrible, horrible Africans, and that's another thing. It's like with
About
this new movement.
slavery to what is now Saudi Arabia
You know,
and the Middle East.
this whole new movement too that's going on in England. I find that kind of messed up. It's like freaking everybody's trying to pretend like this new shit about immigration and these horrible, dirty Arabs is all conservative. And it's like, let's just forget about Paul Golding, you know what I mean? Or who was a white freaking supremacist, a white nationalist, or Nick Griffin. Do you remember Nick Griffin?
Concept of nationhood and the
Do you
right of a
remember? Do you
nation to have
remember?
its own
Do
border.
you, do you remember Nick Griffin or Tommy Robinson?
Yeah, Tommy Robinson actually, funny enough, just came out of jail recently because
Yeah.
of his documentary they created, which wasn't anything. It was just really related to a legal issue of oh, I can't remember the
Speaking
actual
out
term, but
against the government.
They
no,
were. He's straight up a white supremacist. I mean, point blank.
no,
No, he's not.
Yes, he
no,
is. Yes, he is.
bullshit.
Yes, he is.
Bullshit.
Oh, man.
Bullshit.
He,
He's during his EDL days, which ended. Remember, the EDL hasn't existed since 2012. During those days, he was mainly concerned about things like the alleged rape gangs
yeah, come on,
situation
dude.
that was
Seriously.
happening, and
Seriously.
immigration.
And you don't, and see
Don't
now,
they call them summer house parties?
and now,
Proven to be found would be has actually been it's been demonstrated that it was correct to be critical of.
no, what it is
That's
his propaganda has been pushed and pushed
So
and
no, I
pushed.
would not take this.
It's not propaganda. He was.
It's white
He was
supremacist
speaking out against
propaganda, dude.
This woke arguments that you're pushing.
He not one time ever
This
did
white
he deny the
supremacist.
fact that he was
Why
a
you?
white
I mean,
nationalist.
not face now.
Not
Or are you
not one time had
Roger is
he.
anti-free speech,
God.
actually. He's a
No,
closet
not one
anti-free
time.
speaker.
Not one time did Tommy Robinson ever say that he was not a white freaking nationalist. Ever. He actually admitted to it.
But he also didn't admit to being a white.
What's wrong with being a nationalist again?
No, white nationalist.
What's wrong with being white again?
Man.
Well, it sounds like see what it sounds like to me is you guys are trying to push a far right white nationalist freaking ideology, conservative, pretending like it's conservative.
The problem here is, Roger, you've been brainwashed by this.
No, I
idea
haven't.
that
No, I haven't.
nationalism is a
No,
bad
I
thing,
haven't.
right?
I disagree. I agree with Mr. Wilbur.
It's
No.
actually like supporting your own nationality is a good thing, and being proud of who
Yeah.
you are is a good thing too. And there's no problem with
Yeah.
being a white nationalist. It doesn't mean you're a white supremacist. Those two things are not equivocal. All right.
Agreed.
And he's simply concerned about the like on paper the
Those
white people
those
in the
fucking
UK are
Arabs,
getting
there's
replaced
fucking
by
Arabs,
foreigners
those fucking Arabs
at a
raping
rate
women,
that's
gang raping. Yeah, that's what they're doing. We need to get their asses out of here. That's where that all started, and it's going on now. It is going on now. It's gotten worse. It's spread to all these other freaking countries.
Authorities covering up so-called
No, dude.
baby
Actually,
gangs.
just to get us back on topic here, guys, this is exactly what happened in South Africa,
That's
right?
what's going on.
In order for the government to win the election, they shipped in 3 million black Africans from Somalia and other countries up north, and they brought them into South Africa. They've overrun the place, and basically, the infrastructure couldn't cope with it all. Now they have like rolling blackouts, extreme amounts of violence, and all sorts of tensions because they've brought in these external groups that have no like cultural ties to the people in the country. They haven't assimilated, and it's the same kind of thing. And now, like, look, the people that have been there for generations are getting pushed out because they're bringing in other people just for a political agenda, you know. And I don't think
And displacing the traditions and cultures of that country.
yeah, yeah.
Which
And the problem in the EU or UK right now is the government is
It's white nationalism.
well,
that,
the,
that
White
the
that's
government
what
is
it is.
arresting people
It's
that
like,
are
I mean,
accountable.
what
If
traditions
you
are
say
we
anything
talking
against
about? Are
an
we talking
immigrant
about?
in the UK right now, you go to jail.
Well,
But if you're an immigrant and you go stab
Britain
someone, you're
has,
just free to go.
well, I mean, in South Africa, what traditions are we
I'm
talking about? Are
sorry,
we talking about that, or are we talking
got
about?
1,000 years
Are we talking
tradition,
about
if not
the
a lot
white
more.
fascist socialist freaking tradition, or
Actually,
are we
that's the
talking?
funny thing. The black people are the communists now there.
Well, I
So
mean,
they're fascists.
I
But
I get a
South
kick out
Africa,
of that too. Like what are you talking about? They're actually socialists. I mean, they're communists.
well, aside, well,
Okay,
I've heard a couple of people make that comment, and
I would be very careful of using the term fascist because that's been.
yeah, yeah. So look here on the screen. The ANC alliance
Are
with the
we
South
actually
African
talking about
Communist
well,
Mussolini?
Party is one.
I mentioned Paul Golding. Okay, he's a point blank. He's a part of the neo-fascist political party in England.
So, and on fascism. So you're talking about the technocratic concept of having companies work in lockstep with governments.
So you're telling me
Um,
British First isn't freaking a British fascist,
well,
neo-fascist freaking
define
political
what you
party?
mean by fascist.
Well,
Are you telling me that British First
Define what you mean by fascism.
it's a
yes.
political party that freaking is fascist? It's freaking
What is fascist?
it's
Define. Do not make a circular argument. Please
didn't
define
we
what makes
have this
fascist.
conversation last week?
Well, you got to be
Yeah,
able to define
because
the word
I
that you're
believe
throwing
they
around, Roger.
misusing the term fascist.
Well, fascist is basically where you take and you use freaking socialism as a freaking monopoly in order to freaking in order to freaking achieve your
Isn't that
goals.
can that also be described as?
It's
Can that
where
be
it's where you segregate you
communism?
segregate the freaking population to only a few people get the benefits and the rest of them become freaking servants.
So we're talking about what? German National Socialism?
Yes, well that actually
No,
is
that's not fascism. That's not fascism.
no, actually
Fascism and
that's
Nazism are
actually
two different concepts.
those are just wordplay. That's just wordplay that
There are
people who are freaking socialists use in order to freaking make their point across, okay? They become overbearing and they freaking don't want to listen to nobody else. And what they do is they freaking use words to freaking, and they change things according to what they want you to freaking understand, okay?
Again, that's also communism, isn't it?
Yes, that is.
Totally communism.
Socialism.
So,
I've never freaking made a distinguish any kind of categorization with socialism. I don't give a shit if you're a white supremacist freaking national socialist or if you're a freaking woke freaking socialist living in Germany. You're still a fucking socialist. Okay.
socialism is not necessarily about.
Yes, it is.
It's
All
all
of it.
about.
It's all evil.
So you're saying that a socialist concept of having health services free at the point of
If it was if it was free, then everybody could go in and they wouldn't have to have paperwork to do it. You'd just be treated, and it didn't matter what the color of your skin or the name you had on or what country you were born in.
which is true for the NHS, and NHS is also
You see,
socialist.
that's socialist.
But that's not a bad thing.
How many people are lined up? How many people are lined up waiting?
What it is, it's a bad thing.
Socialism is not fascism. Fascism has got more to do with like top-down, centralized, autocratic control with a
Monopoly.
dictator in place.
Monopolies.
Oh.
Monopolies.
Well,
They create.
oligarchy
They
has a monopoly on power.
first they create socialists. First they create
There's a
socialist
difference
programs.
between a dictator and a democratic leader, right? And that's the sort of difference. I thought was a fascist was like totalitarian control by a dictator compared to a democratic leader.
No. Now listen, first they create
Even though,
monopolies, and they do that. They do that with
Hitler.
socialists. They do it with socialist programs. They bring in your socialist programs, and then they have to create monopolies. So and the best way to explain that is like a prison system. You turn around and you have to have freaking people come in and feed the prisoners, or you have to have them provide the food. In order for you to freaking have a contract with these prisons to freaking give food to the or sell food to the prison, you have to freaking have a certain you have to be able to pass certain regulations and be licensed in certain ways. That creates a monopoly. That means that only these specific groups can freaking cater to the prison system to give them food for their cafeterias. Same thing with freaking the guards, okay?
Okay, in that case,
How is that different from
in
like
that
military?
case, how many private in the US does handles
What do you think I'm
prisons?
talking
How many companies in the US handles state provided meals such as school meals and prison meals?
Think about it. Yeah, you think about it. I already know what I'm saying, dude. I already know that. You see, the whole thing is freaking you don't want to admit it. You see, that is freaking fascism. That's happening freaking everywhere. You guys are even worse about it.
You're saying a monopoly is
no,
fascism,
no.
but that's not exactly right. Fascism has got to do with a dictator enforcing control over people for the benefit of the nation over the individual. This is literally what it says in the dictionary.
Dude, think about it. How many times does that happen? How many times does that happen where a dictator was actually in charge of a fascist government?
Italy?
That's a good question because,
Mussolini?
again, Mussolini was voted in, so was Hitler voted in.
Okay, Hitler and Mussolini were the only two that I know of that were actually a ruthless freaking dictator in charge of a fascist government.
No, because they were voted in. If you want to use the point of democracy, they were voted in the first place. Therefore, they cannot be dictators.
Yeah, but you can become a dictator after you get voted in.
Now, and honestly, to be honest about it, freaking, they were really two different forms of freaking government.
Yeah,
like everybody clumps the.
Like you misusing the term fascism, because fascism is based upon the modern.
Well, even look at Mussolini and Hitler. They were two separate.
Based upon the Mussolini model.
Right. They were two.
Well, Hitler wasn't a fascist. He was more of a nationalist.
He was a national socialist.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
See,
it was an extreme,
which is good.
socialist.
I reckon that's a good way to go.
I don't know about all that.
In itself, isn't a bad idea because it allows for protection of borders, protection of